Hello, if you're new here, I'm Dr. Esther Amefule, and this is part 2 of a 4-part series on everything job interviews. In the previous video, I talked about how do you get yourself out of a nervous breakdown while you're interviewing? How do you navigate your way through and out of a question that you haven't anticipated? And today we'll be talking about how to get your panel of interviewers to like you. So if you haven't watched the other video, I would suggest that you do so after you do this, or you go do that first and come back here. But let's go. With every social interaction, your outward appearance, your gesticulations, your facial expressions all tell a story about you even before you open your mouth. And sitting in front of a panel of interviewers is no different. Yes, what you say matters, but why don't the whole you, both your verbal and your non-verbal cues, why don't the whole you depict the value that you want to portray? So I've spoken a lot about substance. So how do you clearly and coherently, communicate the value you possess in my previous videos, be it how to predict job interviews for time, or how do you navigate your way through questions that you haven't prepped for or has been phrased differently to how you anticipate it. So there's been a lot of talk about, the substance and the answers that you provide. But today I want to talk about the non-verbal aspects of an interview. So how do you set the scene? How do you communicate your value in the preamble part of the interview, in the the small talks in between, in the bits of an interview journey or experience that it's outside of the core question and answer? Because contrary to what you think, how you navigate or how you approach the other bits has a stake in how your interview experience pans out to be, and even the outcome of your interview. So let's address that today. The saying, dress how you want to be addressed. Now, I know we're moving into a world of, equity, a world of checking your conscious and your unconscious bias. But why do you want to take that risk in the first place? Outside of the likelihood of how you dress, hampering your chances of getting an interview, dressing comfortable, but yet also put together has a way of giving you, this confidence boost. But it also has a way of transporting your mindset to that state of, I'm ready for business, and helping you to attach the seriousness and the alacrity that is due the encounter you're about to have. Nobody wants to hire a person that does not attach any seriousness to their business or to the role they're about to embark upon. And it's always a good idea to mirror the dress culture of the organization that you want to work in or you're interviewing for, because that sort of sends a message of, I look like one of you, I'm already a good fit. Outside of the tip of dressing the part, the other recommendation is just to smile. Honestly, it's such an underrated weapon. Smiling has a way of evoking warmth and cheer and friendliness in the person that you're smiling at, and almost like coerces them to smile back, which means it will sort of diffuse the tension in the room and make the the atmosphere a bit more conducive, as if you're having a natural dialogue than is an interview, is a very formal conversation. So smiling goes a long way with reprogramming the atmosphere of the interview to make sure that is one that is very light-hearted, very conducive, very natural in the communications and the conversations that you're having. Smiling is great, but also being very polite is very, very important. Phrases like, thank you for the opportunity to interview with you, or even compliments like, oh, you have such a lovely building, you have such a lovely office, goes farther than you think, honestly. And if they've made any adjustments for you, so things like maybe provided, alternative interview dates, which is beyond what they initially assigned to you, or they've done things like provide you a bottle of water for the interview, or a glass of water, or they have thought about the room temperature and you being comfortable. So making sure the room is not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just, quite the right fit for you to be comfortable enough. Or they've even thought about, okay, the sitting arrangement, how do we position the sits that the sun is not in your face while you're responding? So whatever acts of kindness that they have shown, this is a good time, and it's such a good thing to acknowledge it. Say thank you. Oh, thank you for the, oh, this is such a lovely, kind act that you did. This is such an act of kindness. Thank you for the water. Oh, thank you for making me comfortable today. Thank you for the warm reception. You guys were really warm from the, from the reception downstairs, from the get-go. Anything that that acknowledges the efforts that you've made, it's something to throw into the mix, and it will go a long way of portraying the kind of person and the kind of values and principles by which you operate. And if that's the same as the interviewer, as the organization, you're already communicating that I am one of you. So it's such an important gesture, virtue, to make sure that you have and portray. Because at the end of the day, regardless of one's skill set or your poise or your notoriety, nobody likes anyone with bad character. Honestly, nobody wants someone that it's not kind or polite or lovely or warm. Everyone just wants someone that, that is quite kind in the way that they relate with one another. So the key here is just to make yourself likable. If there's room for you to slide in a joke, do so. Lighten the mood, and it makes you more human and just humanizes the whole conversation, both for the person that is interviewing and the person that's been interviewed. So smile, but also just be very polite and kind. On the subject of communicating your humanity, it's okay to not be so perfect. I know in interviews, the whole concept of being very formal, being very picture perfect, being very, put together gets bandied around. And yeah, maybe there's some truth to that, but it's okay to portray yourself that, I'm a human being. I am not without flaws. I am not always perfect. And it works in your favor, more than you think. So it might even be things like, if a question is being thrown at you that you didn't anticipate, you can go, oh, I didn't anticipate that one. But I'll try and do my best in answering it. Or if the question is quite tough, oh, that's quite a tough question, but I'm sure I'll be able to mock up an answer for that. So be true, be real, be authentic. And if you want to sneeze, don't feel like you need to hold in your sneeze, because that would put you an impression that you don't want to portray. My brother, my sister, just sneeze, my dear, sneeze. Sneeze, cough. If you want a glass of water, reach for it. Can I go get a glass of water, please? Or if you need some time to use the restroom, ask for some time. If you need to reach for your laptop chargers, just say, a second, let me just get, my charger, because my battery is running out. It's all fine. It's okay to communicate that you are a human being, and it makes you more relatable than you think. I know this is something else that also happens when I'm on a panel of interviewers, is that, the candidate that we are interviewing, one of their kids, especially if they're a parent, one of their kids run into the room and they interrupt the conversation. Like, oh, Mom, I'm back home, or I'm back from school. Oh, Mom, what's for lunch? Like, you hear that in the background. And, so you're like, oh my God, this child. But it's okay, make a joke out of it. It just communicates that you're human, you have a family, and it makes you even more relatable in most cases. So it's fine to just humanize yourself, and it works in your favor more than you think. I say all this to say that your interviewers are first and foremost human beings, okay? They are in touch with the everyday realities of life, and they get it. I know some corporate cultures are in disfavor of, the concept of someone being a family man or a family woman. And if that's the case, maybe that's a place you don't even want to work in to even start with. So don't freak out if your interview session is not picture perfect, if it doesn't go according to the perfect plan that you have planned or portrayed or whatever. It's not the end of the world, and it might just be the reason you get that job. Honestly, I've seen that happen countless times than I can count. It happens all the time. So just be a human being, and it's fine. So to recap, so dress how you want to be addressed, okay? Don't leave room for someone's bias, consciously, unconsciously, be the reason why you don't get a job that you really love or is such a good fit for you. And the other thing is just smile, just be lovely, be warm, be polite, be kind, notice the little things and be thankful for them. And the other thing is just be fine with just being a human being. Let things, you put as much structure as you can, but if things don't go exactly to how you plan them, try and make light of the situation, turn it into a point of a joke or something. Like, don't lose your composure, and that might just be the reason why you get the job. So I hope all of that was really helpful. If there are any tips that you have that I haven't mentioned on how to get your interviewers to like you even before you comment on the interview session or while you are interviewing, leave it in the comments below and I will be there reading and responding. Until next time, Dr. Chiamaka Esther, I'm your face, speak soon, and God bless you.